I watched the latest Ananta gameplay trailer at 0.25x in order to be able to see if there were any details I could catch in the trailer. That's what this video is about. But later on today, you guys are going to get a video comparing NTE to Ananta. So make sure if you are not subscribed already that you subscribe to the channel and that you turn on your notifications. And if you're interested in news videos, challenge videos, discussion videos, and lore videos for any of the games that you can see on screen right now, then you really need to be subscribed to the channel. Also join the Discord, and let's get into the video. Hey, what is up guys, it's Mordant. Now, in the very first scene, we see the MC and Taffy, and one thing you should note is that the MC is a cop, and right here on his shirt, you can actually see his body cam, which basically every single police officer in real life is actually supposed to have, and they always turn these on anytime they're going in for any kinds of operations, be it detaining a suspect or anything else. Now, this frame over here has Taffy screaming out in pain because she's probably not going to get her paycheck, but then the main thing to actually glean from this is to look at how expressive the facial models are. Now, this was one thing that NTE was very much praised for, and while these facial expressions aren't as crazy as NTE's, I think NTE does it better. This is still very, very good, and I'm very happy to see that they actually stole this little bit of detail from NTE. So right over here, we see the MC and Taffy driving in a car, but I want you guys to take your attention right over here by the side of the road. This is a power box, right? And in some games, like the Watch Dogs games, if you drive into these, you can actually cause power outages in the city. So I am very curious to know if it's actually possible to do the exact same thing in Nova City and also in this game. Also in this same shot, we can also see some of the cars that are going to be available for us to drive in this game. While we don't actually know their names, I like what I see. At the same time, if you take your eyes up, you will actually see a plane that is flying in the air. We don't know whether or not this means that we're going to be able to fly planes in the game. We do know that we can fly helicopters in the game, but we don't know about planes. I am really hoping that we can also fly planes in the game, because that would really lean into the GTA aesthetic that this game is very clearly going for. Now, also in this same shot, we can also see that we're driving into a bridge that leads into Nova City. So that means that there are also going to be areas outside of Nova City that we can explore, similar to what NTE had, and I very much am looking forward to this. Now, in this shot, we can see an overhead shot of basically the bridge, and also we can see a yacht in the water, which makes me curious to know whether or not it's going to be possible for us to host parties in a yacht, or if we could actually get a job driving a yacht, or even if it's possible to actually own our own yacht and host our own parties. Listen, we're barely 30 seconds into the clip and there are already a ton of things that I love about this game. I am really looking forward to it. Also looking at the exact same shot, we can also see a harbor, which in the theme of actually getting jobs in the game in order to get money, can also be a place where we could potentially make some more money in the game. Also in the distance, we can see a Ferris wheel, which basically confirms this video that I made a while back, that we will be able to go on dates or hangouts with other characters in the game. In this shot, we can see the train system of the game, but the most important thing is that we get to know the name of the train system in the game. It's called the Nova City Metro. In this shot, we can see some people doing some wind gliding, which could be teasing that we have this as a side activity in the game. Of course, it's not confirmed, but I don't think they would show it for no reason. This shot shows us some people riding on some smaller boats. Do I really need to go into detail on this? It's probably just another side activity that is going to be in the game. Now, in this shot, we can see one of the characters playing baseball, which basically tells us that this is going to be a side activity that we can do in the game. But at the same time, we can also see a dog following her, which might be teasing that we can also keep pets in the game, and I made a video just recently talking about the things that fans wanted, and having a pet in the game was one of those things. But that was leaning more towards having some more exotic pets like spiders and lizards and other things. That hasn't been confirmed, but the fact that we actually can keep pets in the game is basically confirmed. Now in this clip we can basically see a glimpse to areas that are outside of Nova City. Very similar to what NTE had, which means that these two development teams basically took inspiration from pretty much the exact same place. And in this exact same area we can also see a little bit of insight into how the NPCs can interact with each other and the world, not just with you. In this shot we can see that this person is presenting flowers. I really hope he's presenting those flowers to the girl and not to the robot, but you never know, these games can be crazy. So that means that this game is going to have more lively NPCs, not just NPCs who walk around and stand around and don't do anything in the world. Now in this shot we can actually see the first glimpse of the map that is going to be in the game, and it takes a lot of inspiration from GTA 5. Like, it's basically the exact same thing. The only difference is that we don't have the health and the special ability meter at the bottom. Inside of this map we can also see some icons that basically signify some of the things that we can do in the game. We have an icon for home, which basically means that we'll probably be able to purchase property around the map. We also see an icon for the gym. We can see a cinema icon, which is, I actually think it's a cinema icon because it looks like the YouTube icon, so I don't know what else it could be. And then there's this other icon, which I really do not know what it is. But as of right now, I suspect that it's an icon that you can use to change clothes. And speaking of changing clothes, we finally get a first look into the customizable outfits that we have for our characters. Here we can see that the MC is with the police character that we did not know her name before, but we finally do in fact know her name. It is Richie. And we can see that both of them have different outfits for the hangout that they are currently doing. Now in this shot, I think it tells us that Taffy and the MC are actually roommates, or they live in the same building. It's one of them. I really think that they are roommates. I can't be sure though. Inside of their room, you can see this skateboard over here, which basically confirms that skateboarding is still in the game. You can still go out to a skateboarding park and actually skateboard in the game. So there are a ton of side activities for you guys to be able to immerse yourselves in. Here we can see a different outfit for Taffy, who is on a hangout with another character in the game. And they're headed to a comic book store, and we can see some posters for probably something that is going to be a collectible in the game. I can't be sure, but it's Soccer Boy, okay? Which is basically just soccer. But I'm thinking currently that we could be going around the map looking for and collecting comic books of different kinds around the city. This is not confirmed, of course. This was just something that I thought about when I saw this. And at the same time, if you look at the map, we can also see a symbol for the train. In this frame, we can see more icons on the map. We can see a basketball icon, and we can see the clothing store icon. And I just realized this means that this other icon that I thought was the clothing store icon is actually incorrect. So at this point, I have no idea what that is. We also see an icon that looks like a USB. I have absolutely no idea what this means. Now, thinking about it while recording this, I'm thinking maybe it's a way to get into multiplayer, because staying in line with this video that I had made previously, we had heard that there was going to be multiplayer and single player as well. So maybe this is the way you can connect to the multiplayer. That remains to be seen, of course, but we don't know. Now, we also get to see the name of the second law enforcement agency in Nova City, the NCCA, which we don't actually get the full meaning of until later on in the trailer, where it's revealed that it's actually called the Nova City Crime Agency. And we can see these police officers actually detaining people. The MC here is taking a picture, and this basically teases that there's going to be a social media platform in the game, and we do later see this in the trailer. Right over here, we can see a new supercar model, and we also have this map icon that I have absolutely no idea what it is. In this frame, we can see a new map icon. And since it's a gear icon, I think this might be the place where we tune up our cars. Maybe we fix our cars here, maybe we can pimp them up. Here we see a map icon for a photo spot, which indicates that there are going to be a ton of other things to do apart from just physical activities. There are going to be pictures you can take and other things, which may also have achievements attached to them. This frame basically confirms that bikes are actually going to be in the game, but there is something else that I saw that I honestly don't know what it is. So I've seen this quite a bit on the map. I've seen some blue icons and I've seen some red icons. I was at first thinking that these just signify enemies in the area, but right now I don't know, because this is what enemies look like on the map, but this looks different. It's like, I don't know really, maybe gang locations or something. I don't know for sure, but I just know that it's there. Now, this frame basically tells us that we're able to go to concerts during these hangouts with different characters. And the next frame basically shows us that there are different kinds of genres of music. The first frame was basically EDM, and this frame is basically metal, if I'm correct. Please don't shoot me out in the comments if I'm actually wrong. Now, this point is actually a bit shaky, but I think we can have more than 2 characters for hangout. So I think that we can have one character meet up with 2 other characters in order to have a hangout, because if you look over here, we have this other character who I think is actually a playable character. I could be wrong and they're actually an NPC, and if that's the case, that's fine. I'll take my L either way. Now, in this frame, we can see the MC swinging around in the city, but I want to take your attention away from the MC swinging and over to the map. Right over there, we can now see the icon for a mission objective. This is how it looks, and the objective that the MC is chasing are these trucks right in front of him. Now, we're going to get back to them a little while later in the trailer, but for now, let's move on to the next point. Here, we can see the MC dancing, and this might have distracted a lot of you, but I want you guys to note the outfits that the MC has. I think that this actually signifies that the MC is going to have a job where they can do some form of delivery. I'm thinking that this is going to be pizza delivery, which might be taking inspiration from Spider-Man 2, the PS2 version of the game, of course, not the Insomniac games. But that remains to be seen. Now, this frame is a continuation of the former point I had about the mission objectives. And in here, we can actually see that this is basically what happens after the MC manages to catch up with the trucks and actually breaks into one of them. This frame over here shows the MC in a fight. And right here, we can see that we have the ability to do a perfect dodge. And we can also do blocking and parrying in different directions. And at the same time, we also have a little bit of a look into some of the enemies that we're going to be fighting in the game. I think that these are basically high school delinquents. Because this guy's hairstyle looks very much like one anime. I can't remember the name, but it basically has like a delinquent teacher who has this exact type of hairstyle. If you guys know the name of that anime, please tell me what it is down in the description. It's been a while since I watched it. Now, another thing to note before I actually move away from this point is the fact that we are able to switch between multiple enemies while fighting. And this is very, very similar to the Batman Arkham games, and I absolutely love that. I love the fact that this game seems to be taking a lot of inspirations from very many games. That is a very, very good thing to have. This clip shows that takedowns are available in the game, and depending on where you are in the map, if you're near a wall, you might get a different kind of takedown. If you're near a trash can, like this one, you will do a different takedown. And if you're just standing by, you will do a different kind of a takedown. Here, we can see a new icon that I also do not know what it is. Let me hear your thoughts about what you think this icon actually is. Here, we see the phone for the very first time. And one thing that you note immediately is that the UI takes a lot of inspiration from iOS phones. Now, I took a screenshot of this and I actually ran it through Google Translate to see if I could know what these icons are. This first one is an icon that has to do something with a warehouse. This one over here is for achievements. This one is for notifications. This one is for an encyclopedia. Then we have the usual suspects. We have the messages, the camera, we have time, and then we have tasks, which I think is actually a way for us to be able to keep up with missions that are available to us in the game. At the same time, in the trailer, they finally navigate over to the social media platform that is available in the game. Now, we don't know the name of the social media platform, but there are 3 main posts that we can see right here. The one in the middle has one of the playable characters in the game, Eileen. And the post is basically reviewing the place where Eileen works, which is called the Dream Garden. It's basically praising the place and praising Eileen. Now, the one on the right is actually criticizing the Dream Garden and saying that the food there is pretty average, while the one on the left is talking about a character known as Sing Chi. I don't know how to say that. I am very, very sorry if I butchered that, but I think it's Sing Chi because Sing Cho was spelled like this, so I think it's basically Sing Chi. Please tell me if I'm wrong, just give me the correct pronunciation down in the comments. But I'm assuming that this person is also going to be a playable character, or maybe it's not actually a playable character, and we can also have social media posts about characters that aren't actually the main cast of the game. There are a few other social media posts here, but I couldn't really make out much from them. So if you guys are actually able to do that, let me know what they're saying down in the comments. Now over here, I basically almost lost my mind when I saw this. So this says Saturn, but if you are a Sega fan, you know that this exact style of writing out a logo is basically how Sega does it. So I'm thinking that this is actually a reference to the Sega Saturn, which was a console that Sega had at the time. We also get to see an Xbox cameo here. Even though it's not called Xbox, it's actually called X Game. Now, this scene over here shows us basically what I think is actually going to be a mission, a side quest in the game. It shows a kidnapping and a video being sent to the MC, telling the MC to come pay a ransom for it. Now, later on in the trailer, we see the MC actually go to the place where these people were held and actually engage with the kidnappers, but not actually paying a ransom. But before we actually talk about that, I wanted to note something. If you looked at the bottom right here, you would have noticed that this name Malice has come up quite a few times. So any one of the enemies that looks like this is actually part of the group called Malice. What exactly is Malice? I do not know at this point in time. Now, this clip is when the MC is actually going to engage with the kidnappers, and from what I can see here, it seems that you have the option to go in one of two ways. The loud way, which is basically what they did in this trailer, or to go the stealthy way, which, like a Spider-Man game, will allow you to take out all of the enemies one by one before you actually release the hostages. Takedown animations aren't only affected by where you are in the environment, they're also affected by the kind of weapon that you use, which is absolutely lovely. This clip was just a funny clip because it clearly shows that the game doesn't take itself seriously, because there is absolutely no way in real life that anyone would be able to swing a real person with a golf ball like that. It doesn't make any sense. It's very clear that the game is just trying to be a fun game. It's not actually trying to go ultra realistic. So don't expect a lot of realism from the game, even though there is a high degree of realism in the game. Now, this clip shows us a very huge explosion, and while it's cool to see that there are explodable barrels in the area, I want to take your attention to the map. Right over there, we can see this wine glass icon, which I think is a symbol for a restaurant or a diner that we could potentially go to anytime we're doing a hangout with any of the characters. And while we're still on the map, is that an icon for Walmart? Or is that an icon for McDonald's? I have absolutely no idea. Now, this clip shows us the weapon wheel, and there are a few things to note. One is that over here we can see this page thing that shows us 1 and 2, and then we can see the weapon wheel itself. We can also see that melee weapons have durability next to them. And in the middle, for those of you who are wondering, these are stats that are available for the weapons. There's attack power and there's some other things there. But from what I can see here, I think that every character is able to hold up to 2 weapons in the game. This is aside from the fact that every character is not only restricted to 1 weapon. It seems that every character can be able to use multiple weapons in the game. This is not confirmed because the only character that I have seen fighting in this entire trailer is just the MC. So I think that is what is happening here. Here is where the game actually shows us the ability to switch between different characters, which is a very awesome feature. And here we can also see the list of characters that are available. There are 2 characters here that I do not know who they are, and they'll probably get introduced to us later on. Now, when they switch over to Richie, who is in a car of her own. And this, I think, tells us that every character is going to have their own personal vehicles that they can drive. Or maybe this is just a vehicle that Richie has because she is a police officer. And talking about police officers, we can also see that when you're playing as Richie, you have the ability to do a lot of things that police officers can. You can search people, you can administer breathalyzer tests, you can check for drugs, you can even issue tickets to people, you can arrest people, and you can even release them. Those are what all of those icons are. Now, if you look at the map in this clip, you will actually see some more inspiration that is taken from GTA. The waypoint system is very, very similar, where it draws a line which shows you the shortest distance that you can go in order to be able to get to the destination where you want to go. And one last thing, because I think some people may not have noticed, but all of this footage was actually captured on PC. And this basically sort of alleviates some of my concerns that I had with my last video, the video I made before this one, about the PC specs being very, very high. Because from everything I have seen from the beginning of the trailer, it is very well justified to actually be this heavy on a GPU. I absolutely love it. But I would like to see the minimum requirements of the game go down. But that's really everything that I thought about. Is there something that I missed that you guys saw? Let me know down in the comments. If you're not subscribed already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I still have a ton of other stuff coming, and it's a good time to be an Ananta fan, okay? Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.